Welcome to the Satori Lifestyle Satori Masters podcast, the ultimate resource for ambitious, hardworking school owners that want to get their business and their life to the next level. My name is Dave Kovar. I'm a lifetime martial artist, business owner, speaker, and author. My goal is to empower listeners with the knowledge and the tools they need to break through barriers and really get their business and their life to the next level. Thanks for watching and enjoy. Welcome to the Satori Lifestyle Satori Masters podcast. I'm your host, Dave Kovar, and with me is my friend, Andy Crittenden. How are you, sir?
Good, thank you, sir.
You know, in case you didn't tell just by that introduction, he's not from California.
I think I may have to just speak a little bit slower.
It's all good, man. It's all good. So, Master Andy and I have known each other for what, like 25 years now? Is that right?
It's
Something
actually
like that?
27 this month.
Holy
Around this time
moly.
when I came to your school as a little teenager.
Yeah, I remember you came with Kim Stones. There was a whole crew, and that's the first time I think we met. I met Ken Pankowitz as well, and a host of other people.
Pankovic.
And it was like an
UK
ES.
was just kicking off then. The UK industry, one of the first visits over to, they usually go to the summit. I think this was the first event that we went to within a school. So it was eye-opening for me. It was just, the UK was nowhere near what it is like now. And I would just remember rocking up to your school. We were really late and you were still there waiting for us. You took us around and I just couldn't believe the facility that you had. It just blew me away.
Yeah, that was, I guess 98, 97, 98,
98,
something like that.
March
Wow.
1998.
Yeah, we were just kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think we were hosting a martial arts. It was an EFC like quarterly summit of some kind or something. I think that we were having.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you were working for Kim Stones. That was your instructor at the time. And those in
Yep.
the States, maybe a lot of people haven't heard of Kim Stones, but Master Kim Stones in the UK was like a legend, an amazing fighter, a super good guy. I'm assuming you still have a relationship with him.
Yes, sir. Good relationship still. Obviously, I've gone my own way, and he's gone into other avenues as well. But yeah, he was a legendary fighter back in the day, and then was at the front of the martial arts business revolution, the professionalism in the UK in the 90s. Lee Charles, John Jepson, Matt Fidesz, Ken Pankovic, Frank Murphy. These were the guys that were setting the standards, and obviously coming over to events like yourself through EFC and learning and developing and growing, and it's never looked back since.
Yeah, I remember it was always interesting because my first trip was right around that time to the UK, and I remember the martial arts was really good, but the business systems we were a bit ahead at the time. Probably not anymore, but at the time we were a little bit ahead.
Most people were still charging like per class, which some people do, but professional schools were still charging per class and wondering why they weren't paying the rent every month. And
yeah. So
not many full-time centers either.
Yeah.
Stones was ahead of the curve with that. I think he had 2 full-time centers at the time, but yeah, just light years ahead. It was just groundbreaking. Every trip was just such an eye-opener.
So you are in Doncaster, which is, I guess, on the outskirts of Manchester, right?
Yeah, it would be for yourself. Yeah, because obviously when you've ever been here, you've flown in, but we're on the other side of the country, but it's not a very wide country. You can do it in 2 to 3 hours. So
Yeah,
we're
it's
about
amazing.
an hour and 30 minutes away from Manchester.
It's like in different parts of the world, like people will say, "Oh man, I know in the UK traveling 3-4 hours by car is like a long ways." And if you live in California or Texas, it's like, "Oh man, people do that to go grocery shopping sometimes."
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So hey man, take me through. So you started out, you were working for Kim Stones, and you just kind of right out of school, you started with that. When did you open up your first facility?
So January 2003.
Okay.
I made the jump and never looked back. To be honest, we still in the same building that we were back then. Moved on to a bigger part of it. But yeah, January 2003, which is somehow 22 years ago.
That's
Um,
amazing.
yeah, it was just, it was the right time for me. And like I say, I just never look back.
Yeah, so and right now you have that facility, but you have several other satellite facilities as well. Kind of share with everybody how you're set up.
Yeah, so we've got our headquarter school where I'm sat right now. We've got four other schools in Doncaster. Three of those are full time, and then we've got another four in and around the area. So we've got nine schools at the moment. We're trying to get to 10, but we want to
Okay.
make sure that the quality's there.
Yeah. And so what are you doing to grow your team? Because clearly one of the things that I noticed, because I've been to your place several times, it's been a while, but I've been to your place several times, is that, your team loves you and you have, a lot of great leadership qualities. And what is your key? Like clearly some people struggle with one facility and here you are, you've grown to 9 facilities and, you've got this pretty strong following and student body all over the place. How is that working for you? How are you making that work?
One of the things, I don't, and it's going right back to you back in that day. I remember walking into your school and reading. There was names of all the instructors on the board, and everybody was wearing blue. And I was like, "This is cool. This is." I was 17, nearly 18. It was just the coolest thing. And we had the original martial arts career training that
Right.
you guys published and followed that, and then obviously then you updated it to the toolbox, and that book is just the bible of what we do. Um,
It's funny
and
that
we
what you're
just
talking
knew
about.
that staff training was important.
Yeah, I was just talking that with my partner Dave Chairman yesterday. The MACT manual we used to call it, Martial Arts Career Training Manual, and
Yeah,
we came up. My brother and I wrote that in like '97, and it was kind of the best of. So we'd already had some stuff that we'd put together, and to this day, I'm very proud of it. I get comments all the time about people
it's up
still use
there.
it.
It's behind this. I've just tidied my bookshelf up a little bit, but it's still there. And I think I just realized that instructor development, staff development was really important. And I'm very lucky to have some great people around me, great friends, family members teaching with me as well, which is really cool. And I remember I got an opportunity. I got to be who I am because Kim Stones allowed me to be an instructor. Took me on, trained me, developed me, and I just think that I've had a great life through martial arts because of martial arts, and if I can for the right people, I would always want to give that opportunity. So the people that teach with me, every single one of them's homegrown. I've known them forever, and I trust them, they trust me, and we have that friendship and, camaraderie, friendship, mutual respect. I think that is important.
Yeah, so you've done a great job with your team. It's amazing, and one of the things that you said so important is like, okay, yeah, your guys are all homegrown. Now, certainly, if you can hire people from the outside, people do it all the time, and it certainly can work. But there's nothing better than a homegrown instructor. But one of the things you touched
Absolutely.
on when you talked about Master Stones gave you the opportunity is that we gotta, if we want to develop our team, first off, we got to treat them right. But we have to understand is that it's a win-win-win. And what I mean by that is that what I'll tell somebody, let's say I'm going to talk to you about, it's maybe starting to help teach. I'm going to say, first off, Andy, is it going to benefit me if I develop another instructor? It's yes, of course, it's going to benefit the school, no doubt about it. Is it going to help the students if there's another instructor on the floor? Yes, it is. But you know who it's going to help the most? It's going to help you. And we know this to be true, right? Teaching is learning twice, and there's so many reasons for that. But when you present it that way, and then you make sure that you pour yourself into your instructors, then only good stuff will happen.
Yeah, and, and it's great to be able to be surrounded by good people. We have, like, a quarterly instructor development day, and I like where we get everybody together of all ranks and levels, and we all get together, and it's literally one of the highlights of my day, highlights of my year, sorry. It's just such a good day to be surrounded by good people. I think if this is what we're doing 40, 50 hours a week, then to surround yourself with good people just makes it that little bit more enjoyable.
So tell me what you do when you have you. So once a year you do a massive instructor training review. Is that what you're talking about? I'm sure you do more than
Quarterly.
just that, but
Yeah,
quarterly.
quarterly. We do regular staff instructor training, specific stuff, but quarterly we do like a big all day session, normally something social afterwards or something just to um I think the key is the bigger we grow to try and keep the team tight across all units as well. So they've not only got my back and they know I've got their back, but they've all got each other's back as well.
Yeah, man,
So
that's just such a
what
big
the
step.
unity is an important thing for me.
So what happens in that day? So the next quarterly one's coming up in a couple weeks, let's say. What is going to happen for that day? How what's the agenda? How's it look?
We'll start off on the floor, and um that's sort of the message that everything starts on the floor. We'll go through the all the things that we got from yourself. The smiling, sweating, and learning is the big one for me. I think seeing that SSL rule and just drilling that in is super important. Or the three times rule. You go through all the basics from the ground up, and then we'll break off into segments because we have different ranks within our program, instructor ranks. So like assistant instructor levels, we have three of those, and then we have different instructor levels after the full instructor. So each of those have guidelines and requirements to go through on the next level, and it could be then anything from learning how to deal with a child with additional needs
Hmm.
to learning how to handle a parent that or different scenarios, different situations, um, as well as the teaching tools, making sure that those classes are the best in the business. In the we don't want to be an average martial arts school. We want to change people's lives. We want to be the best for our members, and making sure that everybody is on that page. And it's easy to forget something. I think that you've learned, and you think, I haven't done that for years. Where did that go? And
Right.
if I'm
We
doing that and I'm living and breathing it, how
I,
is everybody else going to think?
I call
So,
it I call it work so good I quit doing it. How often I go, oh
yeah,
man, we used to do that all the time, and that's why those quarterly reviews. As a matter of fact, we have our Red Coat Summit, which we do 4 times a year, happening this Saturday, and
yeah,
that's exactly basically what you're talking about. It's so powerful, and the bottom line is that you look at any professional in any profession, and there's ongoing continuous training. It's like you got to keep the sharp, the saw sharp, so to speak. Now, here's the question I have for you. Let's talk about your headquarters school. How many members do you have there right now?
we have just under 300.
It's amazing. You have to do a lot, right, to have 300 members. So, what would you tell somebody that's maybe stuck? What kind of things do you really focus on? Of course, it's your whole organization, but I want to focus on your headquarters school. What kind of things? I enrolled my daughter Melissa in your school. What are you going to do to keep Melissa training with you for years? What's on the top of your mind?
Well, obviously, if we're talking to someone who's already joined, retention is the biggest key to success. I think, regular gradings, progress checks, and building that relationship with them as well, and having the instructors do the same. So I don't teach every class now. I'm in a position
Sure.
where I've got a great team, and it gives me that little bit of freedom. Like tonight, I've taught a lot of classes because we've had a preparation night for gradings, and I've probably taught more classes tonight than I have all last week.
Okay.
So
Right.
it's important that the team are doing that as well, and they have that connection. You know, um, welcoming from the minute they walk through the door, knowing these people's names. Going back to Kim Stones, I still remember the first time he called me by my name. And I was like, wow, the wow factor, and that's never been lost on me. The kids um, know their name. The instructors know the names of the students. I think high energy classes, good curriculum. I think this is something that
How
it's
how
like the
is your
food at
how
a
is
restaurant.
your how has your curriculum evolved over the years? Where's your emphasis? I know,
Massively.
like me, you're a multi-style guy. You do a lot of
Yeah.
stuff. What does your curriculum look like? Your core curriculum? What kind of things are you doing?
So our kids program, we have forms as the as the sort of the core. We have freestyle forms rather than traditional ones. We have a lot of emphasis on self defense. Um, Obviously, we came from Taekwondo background, so there's a lot of kicking in there, striking, um, jiu-jitsu, a screamer. So they come in more at the advanced levels, so they're getting to learn cool stuff. When they get to a certain level, they're refocusing them on, oh yeah, we know this block, we know this punch, we know this kick, and then all of a sudden you're doing this cool takedown, or you're doing a double stick drill or something like that, and then it's like whoa, and that I think that's one of the biggest keys to success that we have is that it is engaging and it is modern and it is relevant, and then it's breadcrumbs and jelly beans. We're still doing the forms, the self defense, the basics, but they're doing this cool stuff as well. And same with the adults. The adults a little bit more self defense, realistic based. I think right now that's an important thing. Obviously, I think all adults join for. They may get other benefits, but I think they join for self defense. I think they join for fitness. I think that's, if they're going to tick the boxes, that they're always going to get ticked. So, I've just come out of like a kickboxing class where they were sweating, they were hitting the pads, and then that would be the core for us. And then again, then you bring in intermediate and to advanced grades of the learning, the jiu-jitsu, the screamer, and other cool stuff like that. So we've got a good variety, but not random. It links in really well. But that's took
Right.
years. That's took years to get there. And then the one thing we really pride ourselves on is the black belt curriculum. So they're not just getting a black belt and getting a down grade every couple of years when they're, because they've been training, they're still
Right.
learning. And I think people like that. They do like to learn. And um,
How's your retention with your black belts? Is it pretty solid?
yeah, it's fantastic. It's fantastic, and I'm sure everybody says that, but we have a board up on the wall, and it's got all the names of all the black belts, and they're active ones, and it's grown from a small board to two full size boards, and we've got probably about 80 to 90 black belts on that
That's
are
great.
currently training
And
across
that's
our schools. That's five of our schools have been around long enough to have black belts. We're about our sixth school. Hopefully, we'll have in June. They're not real. They're real numbers. I can post those photos of that, and that's something that I am really proud of.
so, man. I always, every time I talk to you, you can feel your enthusiasm. What do you do? What do you do to keep your passion strong?
I like to be around good people every day. Like to teach every day. I like to learn. Um, I had a hip replacement last year, which set me back really bad in my training. But there was plenty because you know there's always something else to learn. So, for example, like yourself, I love the weapons training. So been doing a lot of a screamer and been doing a lot of Iaido, the katana sword. Just did a bit of kendo a couple of weeks ago as well. Tested my hip out, getting it on the head with a
So you
scenario.
had some issues with your hip, right? You had some
Yeah,
issues
I
with
had
the
a
replacement.
replacement last year, and
But I mean, did the replacement go? Did I see on
no,
online?
it was bad. I
Really?
think the surgeon was off that day, and they got a butcher instead. So it wasn't the best day of my life, but it made
Oh,
me feel grateful to
did
be.
they have to redo it, or did it eventually heal okay?
It just took a little bit longer than it should have done.
Okay.
So, and the hip replacement, you're generally awake as well. So it wasn't
Oh,
the It wasn't the nicest experience, but
man.
it
Oh
was
man.
it was end of July, so it was like, we're just gonna focus on relearning to walk. I'd walk around my um, garden, and then I'd try to walk down the street, and you know, then stairs, and you build back up, and now touch wood, back doing light training but good training.
Okay,
You
good.
know,
Okay. Well, I tell you that when I got really good, not that I am any good, but if I did have it, do you have any skills in Filipino weaponry? Because I started in the 70s, in the mid 70s, way ahead of the curve. But
yeah,
I just did it because that was what my instructor had me do, and I pick up a stick every now and then. But I injured my back in the mid 90s, and I could do nothing else, man, for 2 or 3 years. So that's when I really, the old phrase "life hands your lemons make lemonade." That's when I picked up a stick and just started swinging, man.
yeah. That's been me for the last couple of years. My big goal now is to get back into jujitsu, um, but I know I've got to take that steady. I've got Pedro Sowers coming over, Professor Sowers coming over. We're in his organisation.
Tell him I said hello. He's an
I
amazing
will
guy.
do.
Yeah, I got my
Yeah,
black belt from him, as you probably know. Yes, yes, he's an
yes,
amazing guy.
sir.
Love
Yeah,
him. And yeah, I just got done. I was just training this morning. Love jujitsu. What I will tell you is when you do get back into it, if you, and I know you know this because you teach people
yeah,
this. You got to do age and skill appropriate stuff. You can't
yeah,
compare yourself to when you were 19 or 20. Like, what I'm
yeah,
doing with my training, but I'm 65, man, but I'm still grappling several times a week, but I'm picking my
yeah.
partners. I go light. It's
Absolutely.
playful, and that's that keeps you in the game.
I think it goes back to trust, what we talked about earlier with the instructor training, the trust side of it. Like, I've started back doing jujitsu with my nephew, who's I'll call him mid-30s. He'll not like that when he watches it. Um, but he's been around martial arts through me all his life, and he understands that side of it as well, and he understands, what I'm coming back from. So, that's really cool. The trust is 100% there. So that's the way we
Good,
go. But
good.
we've got a few guys going. We don't get to see Professor Sauer as much as the US affiliate school. So, that's what I'm sort of working towards at the moment.
Yeah, very cool. Well, I got a question for you. How many times has Bill Wallace been to your school? You've got to be
20,
close to a record.
yeah, probably 20 times
Wow.
um, over the years. Just an amazing guy.
Oh
I've,
yeah.
I've been really lucky as well to have people like that at my school. And yourself, probably 4 or 5 times yourself.
Uh-huh.
And I always remember one of your visits. We had the fire a couple of days
I do.
before, and I didn't even know if my school was going to burn down, and we had to,
Scary stuff,
had
man.
everybody in cleaning the school out. So
That was amazing that you guys overcame that. Yeah, I was with I see Bill Wallace around 2 or 3 times a year. I go to
yeah,
anyway. So we were in a limo talking about stuff, and your name came up, and we both commented how much we liked you.
yeah,
Anyway,
it was like when he was on the podcast, and I was like, "Wow, I'm on there." I was like, "That's cool." So I thought
absolutely.
I'm gonna have to mention him because he mentioned me, and I think you guys were talking on that one. I thought, well,
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
got to
very
get Bill
cool.
Wallace in. But what a great guy, and we've talked about this before as well. It's who allow your students to see is
Mhm.
quite important,
Yep.
and I would allow every single one of my guys to you know you have Bill Wallace in, and we'll target people, and the guys who are just going through the motions in class, and they're not as regular training, and that guy's going to drop off as soon as something comes up, and then you say, "Hey, we've got Bill Wallace coming. I'm going to invite you to this," and they come, and bam, they go from C student to raging fan
Yeah,
straight
that's so
away.
cool. Yeah.
And
I,
he's one of those guys that has that ability.
I think he's probably been in more martial arts schools than probably anyone on the planet. I
He's
think
got
I'm
to be.
probably I think I'm probably in the top 10 list there in that list
Yeah,
because I
I
get
would say, yeah.
but he's been it's crazy how often to
He's
this
the
day
only
he,
Hoist Gracie that could probably,
Yeah. Hoist.
But obviously Hoist is just doing jiu-jitsu school, so
Yeah, he's
yeah.
been no doubt about it. Well, hey man, I want to be respectful of your time. I know it's late out there for you. Give me some, if let's say I'm a struggling school owner, I'm out there, I'm wondering what the heck am I doing? You know, it's like I'm barely making the rent. I'm feeling a little burned out. Give me some ideas. What should I focus on? What should I do?
You should have people around you, you know, have have people around you, whether it's a mentor or a friend that's doing really well, or someone that you can network with, even if it's just one person. Just having other people around you raises everything up. You know, visit other schools, you know, train with other people. Don't just say, I'm this guy and I'm that guy. I just do this. Go out there and train. Go out there and learn from people. Make sure you're enjoying your martial arts, because I think you can't light a fire in others unless you're on fire yourself. And it's hard to maintain that over a long period of time, especially
Certainly
if
is.
your school's struggling.
Yep.
If your school's struggling and you're struggling to make the rent and your lifestyle's not great because of it, you know, other people they're doing really well and you are in your circle and you're staying in and not going on vacation. See how I put that in for the American viewers. Um, and things like that, you start getting that depression. You don't feel that um, enjoyment. You're not feeling the benefit. I think that's key. One of my things that I do is I like to visit other schools. You know, are we still in March? It was last month. I was out in Texas. You say about road trips, and we did me and my friend Luke Burks did a um, couple of days out in Houston,
Yep.
Master Zulfi Ahmed's mutual friends of ours, Chris Ellis and Ken Pankovic, were over there.
Yep. Yep.
We did some training over there and
Awesome.
business stuff, and then we drove out to San Antonio to visit a friend of mine, Eddie Diaz, to visit his school, um, which was really cool. And next month is super exciting for me because I'm going to a school that I've always wanted to visit, which is Degerberg Academy. I think
So
you've been
you're going out
there
there
a
specifically for that
few
reason?
times.
Is there another reason you're going there?
I'm going to Las Vegas,
Okay.
and the flights were so expensive. It was Easter weekend, and the flights were really expensive, and all the connecting flights was in Chicago.
So
And
what the heck? Stay a little longer and see the
I just
Degerberg
thought,
Academy.
this is someone that,
Do you-
like in the old days, you had the All-Star book. Yeah, the EFC All-Star book. And
Sure.
we used to get that. And I used to read your name and, you know, Buzz Durkin's name and all these people that was like, wow, and Fred Degerberg. And like these were the people that I looked up to from back in the day. And I got a chance to meet him in Houston a few years ago. And he was just such a good guy. And
He's a great guy.
you
He's a
know
great guy.
this.
Yeah.
Um, and when I say like Dave Kovar, Zulfi Ahmed, Buzz Dirk, and Fred Egerberg, these are the, you know, and I'm not just saying this because I'm on your podcast. These are the people that you want to be like looking up to and being influenced by, because all super successful, long term, fantastic schools, but great people will give you that time of day.
Well,
And that's
actually
something
go
I've always found.
I'm actually going Dallas this oh no, I just realized I got to switch my flights again. That's for another story. So ah, sidetrack completely. I'm going to hopefully see Master Zufi this weekend, so I'm looking forward to it. So, hey man,
That's
I
cool.
appreciate you being on the podcast. I wish you the best of luck, and if you ever anybody's ever out in the Manchester area, look up Andy Crittenden's school. You'll be in for a treat. Thank you for being on the podcast, my friend.
And thank you, sir.
Take
I
care.
enjoy watching them, so hopefully I'll enjoy watching this one back. But I think they're just a great service to the industry.
Thanks,
So
man.
thank you for doing them.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning in today to our podcast. I hope you found it valuable and inspirational. To stay connected, please subscribe to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you go for your podcasts. If you enjoyed today's show, please give us a 5-star review. And we really sincerely would appreciate some feedback. Your feedback helps us to create high quality content that will help others in the future. If you'd like to follow me, you can go to Dave Kovar on Facebook or Haunchie Dave Kovar on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on next episode.